Hey, y'all. Listen, I can't believe it's Thursday already. But listen, guys, it is Thursday night. It's trending topics. Welcome in the building. As always, I'm glad when y'all come to spend time with me. I appreciate y'all coming to have a little conversation with the Diva for trending topics, okay? But the Diva be working because she got to dig for these topics, okay? We still dealing with the Diddy case. And let me tell you something, the Diddy case, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest, ingest, to talk about, to regurgitate. It is a lot. But I'm telling y'all, I don't like to rush my life. But July 4th can't come soon enough. It cannot. Can't wait for the 4th because this thing going to be over. It's going to be a wrap. But I promise y'all this. I don't care what nobody said. Where's the coercion? Where's the forced free calls? What's going on? Ain't not time like time with the Diva. I appreciate you. Thank you, Measure Man. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. But we gotta do this we gotta see this thing to the end. We gotta see this thing to the end with the Diddy trial, okay? So we're gonna talk about the Diddy trial updates, and finally, Jane finished her testimony. Yes, she did. And I'm over her. But you know what I don't understand about today's case, like today's testimony, when we heard about this other famous rapper that had a freak off and whatever, why was the defense so pressed about outing them? They not on trial. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Why are you trying to out them? There was plenty of people that went to these freak offs, and we have named no other ones since. Why we got to out this couple? Now, granted, because they giving us all the clues, and I was never good at clues. The people dropping clues, I was like, man, what you talking about? But the clues they dropping, we clearly know who it is. Because if you Google said rappers a wife birthday, it's their birthday is in January. And they said this birthday celebration was January 2024. And if you Google the couple who you think it is, and you say, what is said couple's wife birthday? Boom, the birthday is in January. But I'm not understanding why they're doing this. And why they were so pressed to do this. I don't understand it. This case is a whole hot stinking mess. I told you in the beginning it was a whole circus. And the circus seems like it's going to continue to the bitter end. But we're here for it. We got to do this. Then the title tonight is Family Matters. And the reason why the title is Family Matters is because, Diddy has a family. And it matters what we show our kids. It is believed that under his mother watch, Mama Combs, he saw a lot. But let's talk about this. Because towards the end, before he got arrested, the freak offs was occurring at his house. Now, thank God the twins was in the mansion in LA. But what did those boys see? And I will say this. At the end of the day, they all probably knew that daddy was on the substances. And that's sad. Whether your parent is addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, or hardcore substances, it's sad. And whether the kid is 18, 10, 19, 20, 32, I still feel for the kids. Because once you become a parent, the kids will always be the kids. This year, my son turns 20. To God be the glory. And nobody's perfect. And the Diva definitely is not. But I ain't drank, I didn't smoke, I didn't curse around this kid. You got to try your best to do the best you can. Family matters. I know. But I'm going to tell you the last couple of sightings of the twins, I don't like what I saw, what they were wearing and how they were acting. When it comes to the child, when it comes to the kids, I can't even breathe. Because they're two young girls who lost their mother at a very young age. Thank you, Measurement. I appreciate you for the super chat. Did y'all know Ava, the girl from the video, works for the Combs twins as their personal assistant? They need redirection. I did not know. I got to look that up. The problem is, though, here's the thing. All of us love our parents. Even if our parents didn't do what we consider the best, everybody loves their parents. I feel for these girls because their mother died. And Diddy, apparently, he does have a loving side. If you notice, all of the witnesses / victims / people that were forced, when they got up on that stand, in the indirect way, they all said they still love Diddy. He beat them, tossed them to the side, made them do the unthinkable, and still at the end of the day, they love Diddy. We're going to talk about it. Kamora and it said, I hope y'all don't mind a man in the chat, LOL. Listen, we welcome everybody over here. Come on in. So let me talk about, because this title is called Family Matters. And this is a Bronx tragedy. A father threw his toddler in the Bronx River. The toddler is gone. The mother was 17. The family of the father said towards the end of his days, he was acting different and strange. They found the baby washed up in the Bronx River. And they had the surveillance video to prove that he did it. And eventually he told the mother, I threw the kid in the river. Gone. Family matters. Then we got a mother who called the police. An Amber Alert on the kid, on her daughter, Nola Dinkins, 3 years old. She said her daughter was kidnapped. Then later on, she admitted that she beat the girl to death. Family matters. We got 2 young babies gone at the hands of their parents. Dark times. The darkness is amongst us. We brought these kids here. Love your kids. Do the best you can. And you can do better. And then I want to say with the young girl, Nola Dinkins, I want to say the father wanted her. The mother moved, was living with the boyfriend. What in the world could a 3-year-old do that is that bad that you got to beat a 3-year-old to death? Little mama didn't stand a chance by the hands of her own mother. Super sad. Listen, guys. Y'all know what time it is. What do I need? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Family Matters. We're doing the Diddy trial updates, okay? We're doing the Bronx tragedy and the little girl, Nola Dinkins. May she rest in peace. So sad. Hey, Julius. Hey, Katrina.
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat.
Hey y'all, hit the like button.
Look for it. Yeah. Hey, Queen Tulsa.
Hi, Diva. Hello, panelists. Thank you for letting me on the train.
You on the train? You on the train, girlfriend? You on the train? Yes, yes. Okay. Hey, 48.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this story on this little girl first, Nola Dinkins. It's super sad, everybody. But you know what? These things we got to talk about. We have to have these conversations. You know, I don't. It's. Let me just share the story, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay, hold on one second.
Diva, while you're doing that, did you cover Anada Lewis? She had just passed the other day.
I did. I
Okay.
did. I did a video. Thank you so much. Yes, I did. I don't know why my screen is taking so long to share.
All right. While we're sharing, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.
Boy believed to have been dumped in the Bronx River.
That's not the one I want to do first. Hold on. Oh, okay. Let's share. I had so many screens open. I think that's what's.
And while we wait, please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody that we are live and there are plenty of seats on the train. Get on over here before we take off.
I appreciate you. And listen, everybody, happy Pride Month. June is Pride Month. Okay, so here it is. So Nola Dinkins' mom confesses to killing her 3-year-old daughter. Court documents show. Let's take a listen to this. Hold on one second. Oh, my little internet is acting up here. Stay tuned, y'all. Hold on.
And just a little, okay, while she's doing that, StreamYard did have some issues earlier, but we are now back up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell somebody that we are live. Diva's about to go ahead with the story.
All right, why is this? Let me see. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, there we go. All right, so Nola Dinkins' mom confesses to killing her 3-year-old daughter. Court documents show. All right, so here we go. You don't need that commercial. Skip that.
Tragic turn in the search for a missing toddler, with the investigation spanning 2 states. 3-year-old Nola Dinkins now believed to be dead, and tonight her mother and her mother's boyfriend are charged in her murder. Police say this all started with a false report that the girl had been kidnapped in Delaware, which sparked an Amber Alert. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. Now state police in Maryland say they've recovered a child's body, but have not yet confirmed if it's little Nola. Our Steve Keeley is live in Cecil County, Maryland tonight. Steve, what can you tell us?
It all began hours ago with an Amber Alert in Delaware, and then ended here in Maryland with charges of the murder of a little girl at the hands of her own mother.
Homicide unit investigators had enough information gleaned through the investigation that connected these 2 individuals with the disappearance of this 3-year-old.
And then after a search near where the mother and her daughter, 3-year-old Nola Dinkins, lived with the mother's boyfriend, a little girl's body was found in a vacant lot in northeast Maryland, 25 miles from where Newcastle County Police say the mother falsely reported to them her little girl had been abducted. The 31-year-old mother, Darian Randall, now charged with first-degree murder and first-degree child abuse resulting in death of a minor under 13 and related crimes. Her live-in boyfriend, 44-year-old Cedric Britton, now charged with first-degree accessory to murder after the fact, failure to report a child death, and more related crimes.
The leads that our homicide unit investigators were able to obtain that led them to the site where the human remains were discovered, which was in a vacant lot in Northeast. Maryland State Police were assisting with the Amber Alert part of the investigation when they learned that the 3-year-old lived in Cecil County. They responded to the home, and that is where they made contact with the 44-year-old man involved in this investigation.
After a child's body was found at 1:45 this afternoon, the Maryland Medical Examiner's autopsy next is expected to answer the remaining questions.
Our investigators are waiting on the results of the autopsy to not just only identify the young, what we believe to be a child's body, but also cause and manner of death.
Well, right now, the boyfriend is being held here with Maryland State Police in their lockup awaiting his first court appearance, while the mother is still being held on $1 million bail over in Delaware, just on the false reporting charges, awaiting extradition back here to Maryland to face the more heinous murder counts. And one veteran detective says on top of how horrible this case already is, it may likely have people questioning future Amber Alerts now, as this heinous case is one, he says, that is sure to stick in the minds of everyone who now knows all these awful details that have come out so far.
All right, Steve Keeley there, live for us. And as we work to learn more about suspect Darian Randall and little Nola, we do know that court records link them to a custody case in Indiana. We'll stay on top of this breaking news story and bring you updates as soon as we learn more here on Fox 29 and Fox Local.
And the custody case was between little Nola's father and the mom. So Maryland State Police arrived at the child's home. According to court documents, police asked Maryland State troopers to check out Randall's home and the child's last known address on the 300 block of Elk Next Drive to see if a child was not mistakenly left at home. Upon arrival, MDSP spoke with the homeowner and Randall's boyfriend, Cedric Anton Britton. Britton said the 3-year-old left with her mom and was not inside the home. The state trooper told Britton they were there due to an abduction allegation. According to court documents, Britton did not seem fazed by the reason for the police presence. The state trooper noticed cameras outside the home and asked to see footage of Randall and her child leaving. Though Britton struggled to pull up any video and said half of the cameras were down, court documents said he was able to show the officer footage of Randall getting into the driver's seat of a car and leaving. Nola Dinkins was not seen in the surveillance footage. Troopers found suspicious evidence. According to the court documents, Britton allowed troopers into the home and they were unable to locate the child. When officers told the boyfriend that the child had been taken at gunpoint, he had a neutral reaction and said he did not know where she was. A state trooper noticed the odor of bleach while inside the home. One of the detectives arrived at the scene. They spoke to Britton and advised him of the importance of the situation, to which they said he told them he was calm because he used to be special forces and military and has dealt with human trafficking before, the court documents stated. Detectives noticed a pair of blue nitrate gloves on top of a trash can downstairs and another pair in Randall and Nola's room upstairs. Britton gave detectives permission to check his vehicle. Upon opening the trunk, they noticed a child-sized blanket with a reddish-brown smear on it, consistent with blood. Britton said the blanket was not his and said he received it from a stranger he met in a park last summer. Randall confesses. After Delaware law enforcement conducted a recorded interview with Randall, that's the mother, she confessed that the initial story about the abduction was false. Court documents confirmed. The mom confessed hitting her 3-year-old with a belt 15 to 20 times during the day Monday while at home on Elk Nest Drive. She said that after she finished with beating her child, the 3-year-old fell to the ground and was not moving. Randall said when she picked her up, she realized that she was not breathing. She then immediately called for Britton, who was home at the time of the incident. Randall said her boyfriend attempted CPR on the child, but eventually realized she was deceased. According to court documents, Randall said that she became upset and she and Britton put Nola in Britton's BMW. She said the two drove around for a while before returning to the residence. Upon their return, documents say Randall placed her daughter inside a suitcase that belonged to Britton. Randall told the detective she placed the suitcase on the basement steps and checked on it once throughout the night. She asked Britton to take Nola somewhere and said that he removed the suitcase containing the child and later sent a picture of the park. Remains found in Cecil County. On Wednesday, police interviewed Britton, who showed a map of where he believed Randall disposed of the child's body. Law enforcement arrived on the 60th block of Dunn Drive in Cecil County, Maryland, where they found a suitcase and remains inside consistent with a child. What we know, one detective determined Darian's story was false. They canceled the Amber Alert. Randall, 31, and her boyfriend, Britton, 44, both of Northeast Maryland, were arrested and charged in connection to the investigation. Randall has been charged with first and second degree murder, first degree of child abuse, resulting in death of a minor under 13, and other related criminal charges. Britton has been charged with accessory to first and second degree murder after the fact, failure to report child death, and other related criminal charges. Randall is currently in custody at the Bellas Women's Correctional Institute in Newcastle on a $1 million cash bail, awaiting extradition back to Cecil County, Maryland. Britton was released from custody on a $75,000 cash bond and home detention following a bail review in the district court for Cecil County Thursday morning. MDSP is awaiting positive identification of the remains pertaining pending autopsy results. I'm not sure why, though, he was able to get out. This is crazy. Julius, your thoughts?
That precious baby didn't even have a chance. And now she's no longer with us. I don't know why he was able to post let's talk about the price tag for a second.
Right.
A 5K, that's $5,000. 5K bond. Last time I checked, that's remanded until pending trial. He partook in a crime. He is an accomplice. But what we due process. Going through due process. Okay. But where was that baby's due process? Where was her due process from the very woman who was supposed to love, value, and protect her? She was busy unaliving her.
Katrina, your thoughts? Katrina, are you there? All right, I can't hear Katrina. Does anybody else hear?
No, I can't hear.
Thank you. Okay. 48, your thoughts?
Can you hear me now, Diva?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, y'all. But this made me so mad on so many levels. So many levels. First of all, what did this baby do for you to whoop her 15 times with a belt? She's too little. What in the heck? And I'm looking at this woman and I can see that she has no life in her eyes. I don't know what her and this man was doing. I thought his bail was 75,000, not 5. And he had to pay cash. So
You only have to. I thought you only had to give up a certain portion.
If it's a cash bond, he had to pay that 75,000. A cash bond
Really?
means that they don't do no percentage. You have to do that amount, especially with the crime. I mean the thing that he had, because normally let's say they can put up like 10%, 15%, something like that. But with a cash bond, you got to pay cash money. It's not the $7,500 that he'll normally get to get out. And for her to have $1 million bond, first of all, you unalived a child. And I'm not speaking on Diddy and all the stuff that he did, which was horrendous. And I'm not saying that he was accused. Well, he was not accused of unaliving anybody. And I know it's different states, but they're holding this man for the stuff they say he did. But you let a person that unalived their child out on bail if she can post bail. And the things that they did, you didn't just sit around and try to help her. You put her in a suitcase and threw her in a park and you got rid of her like she was trash. People can have babies, but it take a real person to be a mom or a parent. Anybody can give birth to a child. And if you didn't want that child, why do you just didn't let her dad get the baby? This is so sick on so many levels. And the guy that helped you,
Mm.
he's crazy as well. So imagine what he would, if you did something else, what else he would do for you, or she was using him as a flunky or something. Because this is just sick on so many levels, and neither one of them should have got no bail. Yes, we say due process. I understand, but when people are found like this, and I think that she need to be put in the population. She do not need to be in segregation. She need to be put in population so she can get exactly what she gave that baby, so she can feel exactly how that baby felt, not knowing that somebody she fell to the ground. You tried to do CPR, girl. I can't. I can't. I don't know. Maybe that priest shouldn't have opened. I mean, that pope shouldn't have opened those portals. I don't know, because these priests, they already was crazy, but now they're going way more crazy. It is so dark in this world. Everything is full of darkness. There is no light. Every time you turn around, it's an unalivened. It's a grape. It's somebody being taken away. Lord, please, just I hope that little baby. I'm just pray for her soul. I know she's an angel now, thank God. But this is totally ridiculous on so many levels. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, she said
Oh,
me.
yes. No, not
Queen
you.
Tulsa.
No, 48, and then you.
Okay.
Yeah, 48.
Hey Diva. Okay, so I got a few things. The first thing is I don't believe she hit that baby 15 to 20 times. She beat that baby more than 20 times to unalive her through a beating.
I agree with
Now, um, I I hear everybody talking about the bill and everything like that. You know what I'm getting sick and tired of? I'm getting sick and tired of them always trying to reform the law for the criminal. How
you.
about we start reforming laws for punishment? No more when you beat your child to unaliving that you
Mm,
just get to sit in population or you get to sit in segregation. No, take your ass to a concentration camp. Do it China style. Do it Africa style. In Africa, you got to have people outside to bring you food to get you right while you in there. As a taxpayer, I don't want to pay for no pedophiles. I don't want to pay for no child beaters, child unalivers. We need to start changing that. I'm getting so sick and tired of that. I don't even want to see her face. It's like, what's the point of even having a trial? And Diva, I'm sorry that you
no,
know my background. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for me. It's like, what the hell?
yeah.
They don't need to show her no mercy at all. Y'all know me in the chat. Y'all know me on this channel. You know I'm with beat they. But if we got to be technical and be right, we need to do them like them foreign countries do people that commit crimes like that. I bet you that'll keep people from doing that. And how
Mm,
about we start speaking up when we see crap? When you see a child, it doesn't matter if you scared of the parent. Call the law. If you
yeah,
scared, call the law. You scared, go to damn church. We need adults to start being adults. God rest that baby soul. And that's all I got.
I appreciate you. God rest her soul. And I agree with you too. She didn't hit that girl no 15 to 20 times. She beat the crap out of that girl. And I didn't want to go this route. I also almost felt like maybe the boyfriend did something to the little girl. This don't sound right at all. This is sad. Queen Tulsa, your thoughts?
Absolutely. First and foremost, rest in peace to the little girl. But we need a drug test. We need to see what's in her system. Um, and my next point is, does Black life not matter? If this was a white little girl and this happened to her, do y'all think that the parents would be out? No, I don't
Mm,
think so. And I feel like she looks crazy as cat pee. And there are so many resources out here if you are unable to care for your child. You could have dropped that kid off to the hospital. You could have dropped that kid off to the fire station or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think Mental health is at an all-time high. We've had somebody on YouTube that got deleted over some beef. So when we see something, we need to say something. I have reported, child neglect and things like that of what I've saw on YouTube. When it comes to other content creators, and I'm with the young lady that spoke before me. This is deeper than what we it's so many things that are going on. It makes me question what was going on in that house. Did she, uh, did who called who with that baby girl? I want to say that that baby girl was violated and they wanted to eliminate her out of the way so she could still keep her man. I'm going to go on mute.
I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing. Like, did he do something that caused that baby to unalive while he was doing whatever he was doing? And because he was too willing to eager, he's too the way she's telling this story. He's too easy to get rid of the body. He put the body in on a step. Girl, you discarded your baby like trash. You had her in a suit. What she say? She had her in a suitcase. She checking on the suitcase to see if the suitcase moved. And then you say he took the baby out and put her in the park and took a picture. What
But
kind of
sis,
mess is that?
pause. Why he didn't call the police? Why
Exactly.
didn't he
This is
call 911?
crazy.
Once y'all saw that she wasn't breathing, what happened to emergency services? That means y'all didn't give a damn. Y'all were trying to carry out y'all situation because y'all said that it was an Amber Alert and she got taken from y'all. I'll
And the
go
thing of
mute.
it is, why you just didn't give the baby back to the father if you knew you didn't want to have that situation with you?
Exactly.
This is ridiculous on so many levels, and it's making me madder and madder just thinking about it. Because when I see that little girl face, all I can do is see her smiling, and this is it's,
And let me
Can
say
I
this
say
before we
something?
close out. Yeah, go ahead and then I'll give you mine.
And Diva, this is another reason why I'm an advocate for paying social workers and nurses and these people that need to stand in the gap for kids that don't have nobody to stand in the gap. This
Yeah.
why we need to look when it needs to be stricter criteria for foster parents and all that. We need people, and it shouldn't be just about money, but we need to be able to not only as a country, as a people, to help these people that take on the burden. Even though kids are a blessing, it could be a burden for someone else, but it is also a blessing if they can offer and provide a good home, nurturing, support. We need that. And like with the job court thing that's going, it's like Queen Tulsa said, it's so much stuff going on in my head. It's just sad, but we do need to advocate for those people that stand in the gap for our children and children that are not our children that really need them, counselors, teachers, all of them.
Yeah.
And then I'll piggyback one more thing. I'm sorry. We need to implicate when we are, you know how they get the WIC and things like that. There should be parenting classes. There should be resources. There should be something because as a parent, as a bonus mom, my kids are through marriage and I didn't have them, but, I can say that life has been, a little heavy with me in the beginning. I didn't really know I had to ask out for assistance. I had to, utilize my resources when I came to something that I didn't really understand. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I think that when they're giving out that WIC, they should be giving out parenting classes and postpartum is real, people. Postpartum is real. This little girl was 3 years old. She was in her phases of they say, the toddlers, when they get into a lot, did she get into the drugs? Did she, waste, because what's
Wait,
what?
wait, so I don't want to go off. I got two more stories
Okay.
to do, and the Diddy story usually takes me a while. I
Okay.
think
Okay.
I think that more happened here, and I'm rolling with you, 48. She beat the crap out of that girl, or that boyfriend did something because he was too eager to help her just cover it up. But she admitted to taking the girl's life. This is crazy. It's insane. I will stay connected to the story to see how it ends. But she was in a custody battle with the girl's father. If you didn't want this little girl, why not let the father have her? gorgeous little baby, and she's gone. Measure Man, God bless you and your wife. We have fostered 7 children, my wife and I, because I came up in the foster care. That is a beautiful thing. Blessings. I'm going to roll into the next story, and I'm sorry, y'all, but it is Family Matters tonight. And this next story is, unfortunately, it seemed like the dad was going through some mental health, and he took the life of his own child. Let me share screen. Let me make sure I show the right thing here, and then we'll get more into it.
And Ms. Diva, may I say something? Just a trigger warning for anybody that's just coming in. We're talking about some heavy topics just to give you guys a heads up. So trigger warning.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's.
A little boy believed to have been dumped in the Bronx River by his father. A body found today in the East River near the Whitestone Bridge may be 2-year-old Montrell Williams, and his father could be facing a murder charge. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon with family members who attended tonight's vigil.
Please make healing in this family.
The tight-knit family of a young father accused of doing the unthinkable is struggling tonight to understand why.
I don't have the answer to why he do this and why he would even think of doing this.
They're remembering 2-year-old Montrell Williams as a sweet and happy toddler.
Montrell was a great baby. He was great. It's just hard. It's real hard.
He kept calling him Daddy. He trusted him. He trusted him. He took his life.
It was here at this spot in Garrison Park in Hunts Point, marked with Montrell's favorite toys, that police believe it happened on or around May 10th. The 20-year-old father has been in police custody since Monday, when he allegedly told the child's 17-year-old mother he had thrown their son into the Bronx River. The NYPD launched a search in the water and through surveillance footage.
Our detectives did a good job in getting to this quickly, tracking that video, and seeing the crime committed on the video was heartbreaking.
Today, about 3 miles away near the Whitestone Bridge, they found a small body, transporting the remains to the medical examiner to find answers. The mystery is so painful and baffling to the family of the young father. They say he recently seemed like he'd begun struggling with mental health issues, arguing with family members before leaving their home with little Montrell last month.
Nobody expected this at all. Because he loved his son. I don't know what drove him to this.
While his family believes and is coming to grips with the idea that he is somehow responsible for this, criminal charges are still pending for the young father. The mother of little Montrell did not attend this vigil tonight, but the father's family said a prayer for her. In Hunts Point, the Bronx, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7, Eyewitness.
Okay, hold on. I have some more info I want to share.
And as we wait for Diva to go ahead and pull things up, make sure you like, share, subscribe. This is going to be a trigger warning. We're going to be discussing some topics that are viral that have hit the news. And so we just want to take precautions.
Thank you. Father charged with unaliving a 2-year-old son after allegedly throwing a tot into the Bronx River. The father of a 2-year-old Bronx boy who vanished last month was charged with his son's murder Thursday. After video emerged of the heartless dad tossing the toddler into the Bronx River, cops and law enforcement said. Arias Williams, 20, was charged with two counts each of M and manslaughter and the death of little Montrell Williams, who was last seen on May 10th, authorities says. Videos revealed investigators allegedly showed him launching the little boy into the air and throwing him into the river later that night, the sources said. That's the little cutie pie right there. May he rest in peace. Then on Wednesday afternoon, a child's body believed to be Montrell's washed up near the Whitestone Bridge just off Ferry Point Park in Queens, according to sources. The barely decomposed body was swaddled in a blanket, clad in a diaper with a sock on one foot, the sources said. We are dealing with two losses, Leroy Burton, 51, told reporters as he waited for his son to be arraigned at the Bronx Criminal Courthouse. Arias previously worked with kids as a teacher's assistant at a school until a DV incident last year with Montrell's mother, his dad said. His mind is not there. He's not the same person we knew, he said of Arias, while his grief-stricken wife stared at the floor. Over the last couple of months, Arias has been suffering with mental health issues. I'm walking back and forth, talking to himself, laughing, looking at the wall, all type of weird stuff, the dad added. Before the heartbreaking crime, the young dad, who had split custody of Montrell, took him to a Mother's Day gathering where he apparently got into a scuffle with his own mother and stormed off with the toddler, sources said. In the days to come, the boy's concerned 17-year-old mom called the cops, who appeared to have told her they couldn't intervene if her son was on a regularly scheduled visit, the sources said. When both parents ran into each other on the street Sunday, Arias allegedly pulled a knife on his ex and claimed he threw their son off the Buckler Bridge, according to the sources. They should have put out the missing persons report earlier, Burton said. They could have put it out. We could have had closure earlier. We didn't have to go through all this agonizing pain. I just wish we could go back in time. That's what I wish. So this whole thing wouldn't have gone on, he added. The NYPD Internal Affairs Bureau is probing the department's investigative work surrounding Montrell's case, sources have said. Arias was taken into custody Monday on custodial interference charges after refusing to tell a family court judge his son's whereabouts, the cops and sources said. Now, Mayor Eric Adams did a press conference, and they are looking into, because the mother did go to the cops, why the cops did not do more for the mother at the time. Julius, your thoughts?
Wow. My heart goes out to the grandparents who did speak to the Post, because I know that grief is immense. Not only did they lose their own child to the legal system, they learned the news that their G baby is in the heavenly kingdom. And that poor mother, who in reality is just a baby herself at 17, is going to have immense grief and heartache and even more trust issues. And yes, she did make the choice to have a baby with this young man, but she was not picturing this when that precious gift was given to her. And she fought for him. She fought for her son. She went to the cops and said, I need y'all to do something. I'm worried something is going to happen. The article said that, and the cops are like, there's not much we can do when it's a scheduled BS. Do a wellness check.
Come on now, right.
Do a wellness check. You could do that. People call the police to do a wellness check for less. Everybody in the chat know that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And why wasn't this his own family said he was erratic. He was looking at the wall, then laughing to himself.
Oh my God.
And then they end up having a confrontation. And he pulls a weapon on her, and he's like, and I threw the baby off the bridge into the river. What? I can go on and on, but my heart breaks for that young man's parents, because now they have to have shame because of his choices. And my heart breaks for that mother who's going to need tons and tons of counseling to work through her grief to live her life. And may that precious baby rest in the heavenly kingdom.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Oh, these stories is getting to my stomach, and I'm not being hateful, but I don't have no gratitude or graceness for his parents. You saw that he was unstable. You
Mm,
said it yourself. You said he was talking to himself, walking around laughing to himself, doing this. Why didn't you call and tell them that I think my son needs some help, or try to get your son some help? Yet still, you let your son walk around and act like a fool, act like he had mental problems, and you did nothing. And you let a child stay in his care even though he's the father. You did nothing. You said yourself that he was laughing at wall, or this is y'all defense to try to get him out of trouble. Because you said yourself that he was laughing at walls, he was talking to himself, he was doing this and he was doing that, and y'all let him leave knowing that he was irate with a child.
mm,
And if he was at that mental ill, why you didn't throw your own self in the river and let the child stay on the outside? Why you didn't get to jump in there? You could have jumped in there. The child still could have been living. If you want to cause so much harm and distress, if you that mental ill, why you didn't jump in there?
mm,
This just thank the high heavens. Like I said, it ain't because I ain't got feelings for the parents and grandparents and whatsoever. The person I got feelings for is the baby mama, because they saw what the son was doing. But they always to protect those sons and try to keep them in the straight and narrow. But no, you sat up and said this man was having mental problems, and y'all let that man walk out that house with that child without calling anybody, without doing a backup check, without doing anything. So no, I don't have no grace for them, because they could have prevented this. I'm sorry. I'm not a heartless person, but this is a child. This is a child that you knew was in danger, and you did nothing. And when she went to the police office, she needed to file a complaint against them as well. Because, like Julia said, they could have did a welfare check and check. Maybe they would have caught the baby earlier, and he wouldn't have been so much decomposed. The only reason why he floated up was because he was alive when he threw him in there, and his lungs still had air. This is just, whew, okay. Let me just breathe, because these pills make me piss. They pissing me off when they mess with children. I can't stand that. I can't. I, oh, like I said, he could have jumped in the river and let that baby live his life, or took his baby back to his mama. But he wanted to cause harm and pain. If you want to use that much in pain, you should have took your own self out and leave that child alone. But rest in peace to that little baby. I hope that mom heart is lightened, because I. That's all I got to do. That's all I got.
thank you. 48. 48 might be having trouble with the sound. All right. Queen Tulsa.
Yes, I'll go ahead. First of all, I'll sound off with this. Um, we call each other crazy. Yeah, and I'm speaking from experience in a black household and a black family. We'll call each other crazy all day and all night. But what are we doing about that crazy? We know somebody crazy, they going off the limb. What are we doing? Oh, it's usually used for comedy. Oh, you know how he is, or you know how she is. You
Mm,
know, you are enabling. We got to stop that. We got to stop enabling people. We got to stop saying, "Oh, she just crazy." Sometimes we got to utilize the resources that are available to us. I'm tired of turning on the news and seeing irresponsible individuals with children. These kids are asked to be here. And for that mother, and I'm gonna piggyback off of 48. Are you with us?
you can go ahead. Continue, Queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go off of Lady Love. I'm not buying it. I don't have any gratitude, any grace. Y'all knew it, y'all ignored it, and
Mm,
now, you know, it has exploded. And now we have to deal with the trauma. I'll yield the floor.
thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Thank you, Diva. I totally agree with Queen Tulsa and pretty much everybody else on the panel.
Mhm.
I think that it is absolutely atrocious. Like I said before, we need to start holding people accountable. Like if you see these things, like you have to call the authorities, you have to get people involved. That's crazy. You know, I find myself doing that. It's not like often I see abuse or anything, but if I see something that's out of control and out of order and it's with a kid, I'm stepping in all the time. So anybody in this chat, anybody in the world listening, if 48 around and your child is in need, I'm there. I just think that is sick for that young man. I hope he gets help. I give him no excuses. You old enough to know right and wrong. And I'm just giving you grace because Lord knows it's God, because I'm human. So it's a different way that I want things to happen. But because of his age, I believe that God gonna show him some grace, but he need to be up in there for the rest of his life. He don't need to get out. He needs to ponder on this forever. Even if you are in a psychosis, a episode, when you in that kind of treatment where you locked up for life, you gonna come to your senses. We need the punishments to start to equate to the crime. I'm just sick and tired of pat on the hands. And I think that's what this country is coming to. We too laxed. We too comfortable, ready to just pull out our cameras and not do anything. It just needs to change. Diva, I don't even know what to say because it's so like to the norm. It's like we're repeating ourselves when we see this gross behavior. You know, and I know everybody in this chat wish we could save every child we see. It's just so damn sad.
It is. It really is. It really is. And for that baby to be with his father, who he trusted, and he threw that little baby in the river. I think he definitely had a mental break, but I do think the family, you know, seeing this and knowing he was leaving with the child and knowing this man was talking to himself is just really, really
Diva,
sad.
can I add when you're done?
Yeah, just add one thing because I'm gonna roll into the Diddy story. Go ahead.
Now, he may have been having a mental break, but I just feel that's not an excuse. He was also taught consequences, and now he's about to receive them consequences.
He is, but I really do believe he had a mental break only because the family themselves said he was not himself. He was talking to himself. And my thing is, when you see a family in stress, I don't know, they should have stepped in. And the reason why they really should have stepped in because another young life was involved, his child. And that child should have never been with the father. And this girl was only 17 years old. So
Exactly.
and you know what's wild? At 17, she had the smarts to go to the cops, but they didn't help her. And like you said, it didn't. I didn't think about it till you said it, Julius. They could have at the very least did a wellness check. But when they did go see him, they only locked him up because the mother said something, and he didn't. He couldn't tell the whereabouts of the
Can I
child.
put in a quick tip right quick, Diva? And I'm going to be very, very, very quick. Ladies, if you ever find yourself in this situation, go to a shelter and check yourself in because in a shelter, they can't tell nobody that you're there. And what I would do is I would go to the shelter, check in, and I would speak to like a case manager and let them know what's going on and tell them that you're at risk. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, go to a shelter. They can't tell nobody that you're there. Even if somebody calls, they can't tell. I'll go mute.
Thank you. Thank you. No, no problem, Queen. So, but I think with this young lady, I don't even think she knew that the father was in crisis like that until it was too late. But his family knew. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna roll into the last story, the Diddy updates. You know, it's painful. It's painful, this Diddy situation, but it is just this thing is all over the place. I don't really like what happened in court today because they talk about Jane Doe. She did a freak off without Diddy allegedly, but they was ready to out the other rapper that has a similar lifestyle. allegedly, and I didn't really like that. Diddy trial live updates. Defense pushes for rap icon whose wild sexual lifestyle was similar to the mobiles to be publicly ID'd. I don't know why that and how that would help anyone, and I thought that was so unfair, because this person is not on trial. Why do they need to be outed? I really didn't like that they wanted to do that. I'm scrolling to the bottom because it kind of works its way from the bottom up. Okay, so day one, Diddy lawyers continue grilling influencer ex-girlfriend. Sean Diddy Combs' defense lawyer, Tenny Garrigus, kicked off the trial today as she continued to cross-examine the rapper's ex-girlfriend. They say ex, but she just left him when he got locked up. Jane, who is testifying anonymously under the pseudonym, is on her 5th day of testimony. She will likely remain on the witness stand through the end of the trial day. Okay. Day one, Feds one juror number 6 booted. We talked about that yesterday for lack of candor, but Combs says it's because he's black. I kind of talked about that yesterday, so y'all can go back to that if y'all missed that. Jane says she's having so much fun in 2022. Text to Diddy after the freak off, despite testifying she was forced into them. So these are like missed messages. Jurors have been shown a slew of additional texts that Sean Diddy Combs' influencer ex-girlfriend sent him, suggesting she enjoyed freak-offs. In one text sent after August 2022, freak-off, Jane writes to Combs that she's having so much fun. But during questioning by prosecutors, Jane says she felt she had to put on a show for Combs, even in text messages to him. As the kids supporting him in court. So Diddy's sons arrived at court for the 20th day of his trafficking trial. His 3 sons come. The daughter stopped coming, which I think was a good thing. So stepson Quincy, I didn't realize Quincy was 34. Justin is 31. And Christian, aka King Combs, is 27. They arrived at the federal court this morning for the continuation of their father's trial. So that is them. And you know, the things we do, it impacts our kids, and I know they're older, but I still feel for them. Diddy's influencer ex starts crying as she reads loving texts with Diddy. So Sean Diddy Combs' influencer ex-girlfriend cried as she read for jurors a loving text message that she sent the rapper. "You're truly a blessing in my life," Combs' one-time girlfriend Jane wrote in a message in May 2023, the day after the pair had a hotel night, aka freak off. "I have never had a man take care of me like you do," Jane went on. "You're the reason for my child's joy. It means the world to us. I love you, baby." Let me just go down a little bit more. "I love you so much as my friend, my lover, my boyfriend, even though you don't like that word, LOL." She continued. Jane then grabbed the tissue and was offered a break, but continued reading more text to the jury. Jane, who shares a son with another man, has previously testified that Combs was upfront with her when they first started dating in 2021, that he would see other women and that he was polyamorous. You know what? My thing is, and that's the problem I'm having with this trial. They keep saying she's a girlfriend, but then they want to say she was trafficked and coerced. I mean, come on. He told you up front that, baby girl, you're not the only one, okay? Trial wraps for the day. Diddy's influencer ex expected to be finished on midday tomorrow. That was today. Trial wrap for the day. The lawyers told the judge. Okay, let me go up for that. So here. Diddy's Jane Doe ex-girlfriend finished testifying Thursday after grueling 5 days on the stand. And I think she was only on 5 days because of the simple fact this Gina person, they couldn't get her. She's missing. I think she's the one that said, "I never told you I was going to testify and I'm not coming." Sean Diddy Combs' last girlfriend, a social media influencer who was testifying anonymously and with immunity, is finally set to wrap up her time on the stand Thursday after 5 grueling days. Jane Doe, who dated the disgraced hip-hop mogul from 2021 until his arrest in September 2024, has at times sobbed uncontrollably while telling jurors about hours-long beatings she suffered at Diddy's hands and the gritty details of freak-off sex marathons she said he forced her into with P-stars and male escorts, while warning her she better not ask for an effing condom. Hold on one second, guys. Tara, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Much love. Thank you so much. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. Attorneys have a hard deadline to finish their questioning today as Jane had an international flight. So let me say this. They talked about, because to prove that she kind of was enforced, they talked about, let me go up. So they talked about here, this one here, where she was with some mysterious rapper and his wife, and it kind of was a freak off situation. She said it was a break that her and Diddy had at the time, and he got mad at her for attending this without him. But I think they wanted to prove that he wasn't forcing her into these freak offs, and so much so that she allegedly had a freak off without him, right? And they wanted, for whatever reason, this famous rapper couple who Jane said was close friends with Diddy. They wanted the courts to out their name. I thought that was dirty. I didn't understand why they wanted to out their name, because I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? It's so unfair. But the judge said they will not out the rapper in the wife's name. I think, to me, you proved your point to say that she did a freak off or alleged freak off without Diddy. So, and to prove that he wasn't forcing her into freak offs. But enough information was given about this said freak off. They said it was January of 2024, and they said that it was celebrating the rapper's wife's birthday. I mean, you can Google and see a famous rapper and the wife whose birthday is in January and take a guess who this couple is. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, so I had my guesses, but I'm not gonna say who it is. Anywho.
Please do not. Yeah.
Anywho. Ugh. If you like the freak offs, if you like to swing from the shower rods, look here, boo boo. Go ahead, do your thing. And then if you want to still have you a little piece of Diddy, you go ahead and get you a little piece of Diddy. You go ahead. But let me make this clear, okay? Keep me and the rest of us, the public, out of the dang group chat. Okay?
They can't keep us out the group chat because this is a trial now. I
It's
think
a travesty. A laughable travesty.
Yeah. I think the real problem here is that the state overreached, the government overreached, and these charges are just far fetched. Katrina, your thoughts?
Okay, here we go again. Most likely everybody know who that person is. We don't care. This is what they all do. No, nothing that they say that we're surprised about. They go from each other spreading diseases. No condoms. They don't tell. Oh my God.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, no condoms whatsoever.
Mhm.
And you, that, my dear God, they all. I mean, they're just they're just sick. I don't. Oh my God, they all do this. I mean, I'm basically I'm like jury number 6. Maybe he sent a note. Maybe he wrote on a piece of paper saying that he was tired of this. If I had to listen to this every day, I would be tired of this too. Like, you got me in here for racketeering, and this is what y'all bringing me. I don't want to hear about nobody's sex life. I can go home and do my own sex life. Because there's nothing, and he had no business putting his hands on women. Period. They have no business putting his hands on each other, because some women hit men and don't expect for that man to respond back. But the reflexes come back faster than you think. And I'm not saying it's okay for no man to hit a woman, but women, keep your hands to yourself as well. Um, like I said, this is just a whole hot mess. I don't just a whole party of just STDs. That's all I see, just walking pussies running around. It's just ridiculous and sick.
Allegedly.
And allegedly, yeah, allegedly. But like I said, let them do what they do. By them going to trial, doing all this, they still gonna get out and Harlem Shake to the baby oil aisle, allegedly, and do what they're gonna do, because there's no racketeering here unless they come up with something next week. We'll go from that. But other than that, I'm like jury number 6. Kick me off. That's all. But that's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, they are. I believe they are trying to take this money with these charges, because with these RICO charges. But my thing is the government hasn't proved that all of this money was part of his business, and this is a piss poor case. It's disgusting. And then they got three more. They said they calling them minor witnesses. I mean, what are they going to have to offer? 48, your thoughts?
In the words of Cat Williams, pimpin', 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 because this is all this case is a
Fact.
pimpin' case. You know what I'm saying? A hoe and her pimp had a falling out. They hit each other, they fight each other, they have sex with each other, and she go make the money, or allegedly, they saying Diddy ain't really need the money, but that's pretty much what this situation is. And I'm like Katrina and jury number six. It now is getting kind of comical. I tune into a YouTuber and just listen to them. If I'm at work, just listen, because it's funny now. It's like, oh my God, the salaciousness of it all. And it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be serious. And they're dragging this sexy stuff out. And it's like, if people are into BDSM and all that other, that's a sexual thing, and some people are into that. Let that be what them people do. But to continually hear about it, I couldn't imagine Diddy face, like, when they're saying these things. It's just, to me, it's starting to make me laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that's
don't
it,
think,
Diva.
you know what? I don't think it's phasing him, because in his mind, this is his life. He likes, he said he likes the P stuff, and he likes to make his own like real live videos.
So in
But
other words, Diva, Diddy, like, ho please. That's what Diddy
yeah,
be in the corner like, ho please.
yeah, that part. He's like, whatever. And my thing is, though, I like I said the other day, I ain't know no pimp to be paying people like that. Pimps usually take your money. And he was giving up the cash. And like he told baby girl on that phone call, he said, I'm on my job, so you need to be on yours. I'm paying you. This is what she signed up for. She even testified that she would do the free calls because she wanted to get closer to him, and she wanted to be number one. When she found out that he was with Young Miami, I think at Turks and Caicos or whatever, she called him talking about, let's do a free call, because she knew that would lure him back to her.
Diva,
So,
one more thing.
uh-huh.
Even with you saying that, okay, let's take out the pimping. He can't be the biggest trick in the world. It's just not a RICO charge. That's
That's right. That's what it is. It's just that, where's the RICO? Where's the coercion? Like, where is it? We need more. This is crazy.
Forget 50 Shades of Grey. This is 100 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but you want to know what's wild? There's many people doing this and more behind closed doors. I mean, you gotta, but if you're bringing this case and you raiding somebody's house, you gotta give us more. He was her client, she wasn't hired, but she wanted a relationship. But you know what though? They all wanted a relationship. They all wanted a relationship. There was some side about this man that these girls loved. Love, not like love. Cassie was fighting to be number one. Jane was fighting to be number one. They all was fighting to be number one. Queen Toasted, your thoughts?
Yes, let me go ahead and put on my Diddy Dukes, because Diddy had gotten some Daisy Dukes that was reported in the court trial. Now, listen here. What I do want to say is his business money was used for the acts. So whether he was giving it to the girls to pay the guys, I mean, he was using money from his enterprise. So when Cassie sued him, she sued the enterprise and she sued everybody else. What I feel like is Jane Doe looked over that lawsuit and was pointing out facts that she could get into. She was also an older woman, jealous of a younger black woman. And that's a problem in our community. Okay. What I want to say about Kim Porter, she wanted her kids to see this. And a lot of people may not agree. But She wanted the kids to see this and see why she couldn't date and move on like J-Lo, who's been married 35 times. Clock it. Puff needs to be where he's at. The monster Kim knew. Now the world knows like she knew. Okay. And just like we knew that he had purchased her casket 1 month before she had departed. Okay. Well, Diddy feels a way about birthdays. Check the transcript because Kim Porter had taken up out of here a month before her birthday. How you doing?
Yeah, I don't, I like to go by instead of the street legends about what actually is coming out versus not coming out. A lot of people want to talk about things that he supposedly did or didn't do. This is a real life case. This is not urban breadcrumbs on the street anymore, what people think or thought. To this day, and I'm going to speak about the ones that's living, Al B. Sure hasn't given us no proof that Diddy tried to take him out. He keeps saying it, but if you got the proof, listen, why don't you go down to the Southern District of New York because they need some stuff to lock this man up on because they want to lock him up. So go down to the Southern District of New York. Stop putting smut in the streets. You have the perfect opportunity where someone will believe you. Go down and give them the evidence. We got a lot of breadcrumbs about Diddy, but I need somebody to come up with the evidence. They claim when they raided this man's home that they had all of these tapes, they had this, they had that. Where's the tapes with the minors? Everybody talked about the minors, but where's the tapes with the minors? None. They said all these celebrities is this, that, that. Where's the tapes with the celebrities? None.
But are we forgetting that Cassie stated?
Give me a minute, please, Queen Tulsa. They also claim that this man was running such a criminal enterprise. But for somebody who was running a criminal enterprise, the whole 20-something days thus far has only been about sex. Y'all didn't tell us he's running a sex enterprise. Y'all said a criminal enterprise. I need y'all to tighten this thing up. Weigh your thoughts.
But Diva, we can't forget Brendan Paul, who got arrested at the airport, who was Diddy's ill, right? We can't forget that.
So was Brianna. Brianna talked about how she brought this stuff back and forth. So was Jane. Listen, I need RICO charges. I need RICO. I already know. Listen, from day one, I knew. First of all, when they arrested the man, his room had the cocoa and stuff in it, right? So we already know. I'm very clear. I'm very clear. The man got a problem with the substances. Jane said herself, she begged this man to go to rehab and start eating right and eating clean.
But right after rehab, she did a FO.
Yeah, but let me stay connected here. 1 second. One thing I'm clear on, he was hooked. The other thing I'm clear on, 99% around the people around him was hooked. They had sex with others, with each other. All of them was sexing each other. I really don't care about none of that. You brought RICO to our face. I need you to prove the RICO. Wayne, your thoughts?
I was going to say, at this point, based on, when the first thing started, they raided, not just one house, 3 houses, swooped in with weapons, M6, all kind of weaponry, and just this big thing. So, but the trial don't seem to be like this big thing they uncovered or whatever. I mean, it was a big thing. They had cameras, the kids was, they had all of them on the ground, everything. And this far, this is all we got. I mean, the way they did it, the way they raided the house and tore it up and took off, you thought they would have some more substance and not have to struggle. Struggle with people lying, people not wanting to testify, having to, make them come in, with saying like, look, like they say, you could be a You could be a witness, or you could be a victim, or you can be a co-conspirator.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, just nothing has happened compares to all the raids and stuff they did on 3 different homes.
Come on now. 3. Come on, talk to the people, Wayne.
3 different homes. And this is all we got. His girlfriends, pretty much it's the girlfriends.
Let me tell you the foolery too. When Jane got off the stand, she hugged the prosecution lawyers and Diddy lawyers. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? She hugged the prosecution lawyers and she hugged Diddy lawyers. You can't make this up.
Well, she did help both sides.
She did.
And he's paying for her attorneys. Clock that.
I'm just like, but we're doing a RICO case here, people. This is our money. This is taxpayer dollars. Come on, special case. The foolery for me too. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And good evening, everybody. You know, I was listening, but nobody gave the roundup for today. So I thought I better come up here and let you all know that Jane Doe just kept crying and talking about how much she loved Bert and Ernie and how much he loved his crack pipe and how, you know, when they broke up, they had a little break. Because she couldn't take it anymore. She was missing him, but here's the tea. So a good friend of hers said, "Hey girl, we going to Vegas for a birthday party. You coming?" And so she said, sure. So she gets flown out to Las Vegas. And while she's there, they go to a couple of strip clubs. They go to this party and that party. And guess what? They end up at the hotel. And at the hotel, there are 7 or 8 people in a room witnessing one of the commercial workers that she knows named Anton. He is now working for this couple. No, we don't know who this couple is. There's so much speculation out there. But he's actually, in real time, he's having acts with this woman, and these people are standing around and watching. They're taking it in. And Jane has a moment, and she flashes her breast at everyone because she was feeling free. And then she's asked if she knows anybody else in this lifestyle, because they'd like to have some other people come get involved. And she goes right to her phone and she reaches out to one of her other ex-workers to get them to come to the hotel as a referral. So why did I take the time out for that? Because for some of us, God bless those who didn't listen, for 4.5 days, we were hearing on and off how she didn't want this life. She didn't want to be in this life. She was being coerced. She was being forced. She was loving her boyfriend, and she wanted her boyfriend to be happy. But let's go back to Vegas. Her boyfriend, Sean Combs, was not there. And in fact, this other well-known rapper, Iconic, was there, and he said to her, this is according to Jane Doe's testimony, not mine, that he always found her attractive and always wanted to F her. And she was giggling and so tickled by all of that. So today in court, there was so much fighting with the prosecution and the defense and the judge. Both sides are very angry with the judge tonight. They wanted to have information come in, and others wanted that same kind of information not allowed in. And this party in January 2024 was part of it. It's my understanding that this Iconic rapper that has worked with Mr. Combs in the past was in the vicinity wanting to come up to testify. It's really, really a tough, ugly situation, folks, because this is why Jane Doe was hugging everybody going out, because she was on her way to the airport. I think she thinks she got saved by the judge. Maybe she did. But her lawyer was there, yes, the one that's being paid for by Mr. Combs, because they're going after, in writing, documenting major media and YouTubers who have doxed Jane Doe. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they were in the robing room. I think that's where the judge puts on the robe. And that was part of the discussion. She didn't anticipate Tenny Gallegos going after her that way, because some of you may not know that when she was first working for the prosecution and the defense, she was working with Tenny Gallegos. So they had a relationship when she was working with the prosecution side. And then she went out when the grand jury subpoenaed her to come in, she was working with the defense side. But I personally believe that Jane Doe is working for Jane Doe. I believe, I said it last night, that these two people are deeply in love. Yes, we did hear about, the slapping and the beating and the kicking, but I got to tell you, Jane struck back. She said she hit Diddy in the back of the head. She said she slapped him 3 times today. Yes, she did. It was 3 times. All right? So I'm like, these folks got passion and they got substances and they got money. Free everybody. There are no minors, folks. They're not showing up next week. They're not showing up next month. Let these people go live their lives. Get them off the streets. Get them out of the courts. I believe I heard that this case is costing this country $500 million.
Woo!
$500 million.
Oh my God.
We're in trouble because we could have done so much more. Did you hear 48? She said, we need to have resources. We need to pay our teachers more. We need to pay our nurses more. We need people to stand in the gap. $500 million can help do that versus putting it on these folks with their addictions, which are multiple addictions. And the prosecution who wanted to have this spectacle. And Jane Doe, I think Jane Doe is the only one that's going to do well. I think her OnlyFans page is going to blow up and she's going to be like one of the most wanted, party girls out here. But that's today's wrap up. I'll check in again tomorrow. Thank you, Diva.
Well, no, thank you. Oh my God. All this money off of sex, drugs, and hip hop. Sex, drug, and hip hop. I'm going to close out with this. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me share this. Every time he talks, I just crack up.
Now go rest up. Get in your bag. You know what I'm saying? Got your contract. Find a nice little spot. Put your mind at ease. And, I had a great time. And I really, really want you to get some rest. I didn't know about you throwing up and all that. That's when I was like, hold up a second. All right, get some rest, baby. Love. So if you come in for 24 hours, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity. So set some up for tomorrow night. That last vision we had was Dawn and ATL. See you put it together, baby. Hey, baby, we had a great time. Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are the pipe. That's my new name for you, pipe. Or should I call you CP? But, I want you to stay in the light. You know what I'm saying? We had a very, very good time together. Like so much fun. So much fun. Now go rest up. Get in your bag.
Stay in the light. They was in nothing but darkness. They was in nothing but darkness. Stay in the light. Listen.
Throw the whole case away.
Listen. This was what it was. And it is what it is. And I'm going to tell you this. I think I said it in another video, but I'm going to say it again. Diddy is fortunate. Somebody looking out for him. Fortunate that he didn't get that bail. Because I'm confident now if he got that bail every day, he would have been high in that courtroom. Listen, guys. Felicia, thank you for coming through with the wrap up. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Stay in your bag, y'all. Stay in your bag.
Choo choo.